Everybody, Peter Valley here, and this video is for people who are totally new to this business. You maybe don't even have an Amazon account yet. We're going to walk you through everything from creating your Amazon account to creating a listing for sale on Amazon to shipping your books to Amazon and everything in between. And just to be clear, this is really simple. So I can't tell you, when I got started, I remember thinking, oh my gosh, it's so complicated, and it's really not. And I'm so glad that I got past the learning curve, even though there really isn't much of one. So by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what the steps are to go from not even having an Amazon account all the way to creating your first shipment and shipping it off to Amazon and getting sales. So you only need one thing to get started with Send Arbitrage, and that is a Fulfillment by Amazon seller's account, okay? The premise of online book arbitrage, which you should know by now, is buying the cheap merch fulfill books and reselling them FBA for a profit. So to make that happen, you need an FBA account. Now, once you have an FBA account, you can get started right away, and that really is all you need, okay? So let's get into how you can create that FBA account and hit the ground running. So Amazon, this is an important point. Amazon wants you to be an FBA seller. This isn't some like secret club and they try to keep people out of. They want you to sell on Amazon. That's why they have this system. So they're not gonna make it too hard for you, okay? There's not gonna be any weird tricks or hurdles. They're not gonna try to like trip you up. They're gonna make this pretty easy for you. So what I want to say when I'm going through this process, the message I want to impart when you get started is, don't overthink this part. This is really easy, and I'm gonna explain any possible thing that can go wrong, and there's really not much. But man, like just don't get hung up on this part, right? This is really simple. So just a few steps, and you will have your account ready, activated, and you can be shipping stuff off to Amazon and making money. Okay, so step number one is to sign up for an FBA account, right? So if you already have a regular Amazon seller account, all you have to do is add FBA to your account. You can just Google it. It's really simple. If you don't have an Amazon selling account, you have to get one. And so you just do that at sellercentral.amazon.com. And from there, the only thing that Amazon's going to ask of you is some basic information. They're going to ask you for your phone number. They may ask you to verify it. They're going to ask you to enter a bank card, a social security number, some banking information, so they can send you your deposits, because deposits will go directly to your bank account. Just a few things, right? It's pretty straightforward. Again, don't overthink this part. I think most of us have all these things, so this shouldn't really be a challenge. Just assume the simplest possible interpretation of everything, because it's going to take you through a few pages. And you might be thinking like there's some wrong answer, and there almost never is. Okay, so just use the simplest possible interpretation of whatever you see. Now, if you're overseas, or sometimes if you're in the US as well, Amazon does make you go through a couple extra steps. Okay, so Amazon puts overseas sellers through a certain amount of scrutiny, and a very large percentage of US sellers as well. And nobody really knows why they do this. They have some algorithm that just determines, hey, we need more information from you. So they may ask you to send a scan or a copy of your ID card, like a driver's license or a passport. They may ask you for copies of a recent bank statement. These are two things that are really common, and so they'll just ask you to scan those and upload them. Pretty simple. Now, here's something that's extremely important. I would say virtually 100% of people who don't get their account approved ignore what I'm about to tell you. Okay, this is non-negotiable. I cannot stress this next part enough. The names must match on every document. If you have a bank statement in your husband or wife's name, that will not work. The names have to match exactly. The addresses must match exactly. Not even one digit can be different, okay? These are the only two reasons Amazon will reject an account. And I do get emails quite a bit from people, and they hear this and they go, well, I thought I could just, I thought maybe the addresses didn't have to match exactly. No, they must match exactly, okay? And lastly, if Amazon asks for a document, whatever they ask for, and it changes sometimes, right? So I can't tell you exactly what they're going to ask you for. But if they ask you for, say, send every page of a bank statement, you must send every single page of that statement. If they ask you for front and back of an ID, you must send front and back. Just understand that whatever Amazon asks for, you must take the most literal interpretation and follow it exactly, because these account applications are reviewed essentially by human robots. And so if they just see and they're just checking boxes. If they see anything that's not 100% according to the list they have in front of them, they just reject, okay? Now, what type of account should you choose? There's actually two accounts. There's a personal account, which is free, and there's a professional account. So which is best? Well, the only difference between the two is that the professional account waives a $1 a $1 per book fee. Okay, so that's pretty simple math. If you plan to sell more than 40 books a month, you actually save money using the professional account. The only other thing I will say about choosing a plan is if you are overseas, you must choose the professional plan. And the reason for that is that there are certain features the professional plan has that the prep service will need to use. Okay, so the prep service needs a limited amount of access to your account and the ability to grant permissions to third parties. That you only have that option with a professional account. Okay, so if you're overseas, you're outside the US, you will need to use a professional account. Okay, so important note. Amazon does not make it easy to find the free option. In fact, most people never figure out how to actually sign up for the free personal account. So it's actually very shady. It's really messed up because there are two accounts, but Amazon makes it almost impossible to find out how to sign up for the free account. So and they change it all the time. So I want to make this. I don't want to have to record this video like every day, right? So I'll just say this. Here's what most people do. They sign up for the professional account, and then they contact Amazon and ask to be downgraded and get a refund. And that will work all the time, right? So it's annoying. I definitely get it. I don't think Amazon's being very, very ethical the way they have this set up. But that is an option for you. So if you can't see the free option, just go ahead and sign up for the professional option. Immediately contact Amazon and get downgraded and get a refund. And I've never had anyone tell me they had a problem with that. Okay, so how do you answer the questions when you're going through when you're signing up for your account? There's going to be several questions, and the overarching thing to keep in mind when you're answering their questions is there is no wrong way to answer the questions. It's not a test. A lot of people get concerned. They're like, they're asking for a business name. What do I do? Or they're asking questions like, do I have UPC numbers for everything? Just like there almost is no wrong answer. So with the business name, anything matters. With anything will work. With a UPC number, just say yes, right? Like whatever questions. Amazon doesn't verify anything. There really is no way for them to check anything they're telling you. So just if you're in doubt, either make something up or just assume the easiest possible answer. Okay, so now you got an Amazon account, right? Now if you had to upload documents, it may take Amazon a week to get back to you. Okay, so that's not unusual. Okay, so don't freak out if you upload documents, you don't hear back the next day. Amazon's very slow, but they will get back to you. Okay, next up is step 2 is to source your books, right? That's basically what every other video Ins and Arbitrage is about. So the entire system is built around finding books that will sell relatively quickly, that have a big gap between the price you're going to pay for and the price you're going to list it for, right? The FBA price, right? So then you can have the book shipped to yourself or a prep service partner. Contact us if you're not set up with a prep service partner yet and you want to be. But that's this entire system, right? So that's what every other video is about, okay? So now let's say you're using a prep service. How does that work? If you're using a prep service, either if you're overseas or you're in the US and you just don't want to ever see or touch a book, which I get it, right? That makes perfect sense. So here's what you do. You purchase the book, right, on Amazon or a third-party site, because we have that. We automatically scan over 40 book-selling sites. So wherever you purchase the book, either Amazon or another site, you purchase it, you have it shipped to the prep service company. You put their address in, and they will give you the address when you get signed up with them. They'll make this easy for you. Okay, step 2, and the reason this is optional is the prep service will do this part for you for a small fee, but this is where you create your listing. And a listing, it's the same as adding a product to your inventory. There's many ways to phrase it. But a listing, when you hear me refer to listing, all I'm saying is a listing is an offer that is for sale on Amazon. That's it, right? So a listing includes the ISBN of the book or the name of the book or whatever, the price of the book, and that's basically it, right? That's a listing. So the listing is basically you say to Amazon, hey Amazon, I have this book. Here's what I want you to sell it for when it arrives. And when that book arrives, make it live for sale. That's all I mean when I say a listing. So again, when you create a listing, the book won't be at Amazon yet, right? Because you can't ship a book to Amazon until you have a listing created. So a listing is just saying, hey, this book's coming. Here's the price. And then as soon as you get it, make it live for sale. That's all I mean. So you hear me use the word listing a lot. That's specifically what I'm referring to, is entering a few bits of information, the price, the ISBN, whatever, and then telling Amazon, hey, this book is on its way, okay? But the prep service will do that for you if you want them to. I usually recommend people do this themselves. It just takes like 10 seconds, so it's not really worth 30 cents, but in my opinion. Okay, number 3, and this is where you take the book that you purchased and you tell the prep service, hey, This book is on its way. And the way that's going to work is you're going to have a shared document. Now, when you get signed up with them, they will explain this to you in great detail. Okay, so I'm not going to go into all the detail because they're going to give you a much more detailed explanation as to how this works. But basically, there's some kind of shared document. You're going to paste the ASIN, and the ASIN is Amazon's unique identifier that they give to every single item in their catalog. I think there's like 9 digits or something. It's like letters and numbers. Okay, so you just take the ASIN. It's really easy to find, and any details they tell you. So their policies could change, and I don't want to redo this video every time, so I'm not going to explain everything. But basically, whatever they tell you to put in the spread in the shared document, it might be the condition, it might be the condition description, whatever they tell you, just put that in that document. Okay, and that's shared with the prep company, and they can see it. And the book arrives at the prep service. They will look at the book, they'll inspect it for you. That's kind of their core function, right? They're inspecting the book. They're going to alert you of any discrepancies. So they should be able to look at the spreadsheet or the shared document and go, okay, I can see this book was in good condition, and the condition description said highlight. It didn't say highlighting, but this book has highlighting. You should know that. Like, they'll tell you if there's any discrepancies. And by the way, if you're intimidated by the shared document, it's literally like if you can type in a word processor, it's as simple as that, right? Don't worry about that. You don't have to learn how to use spreadsheets or anything. But anyway, they'll alert you of any discrepancies, and they'll inspect the book, and they'll prepare it for shipment, okay? Then the next step is that the prep service is granted, and you only have to do this once, but the prep service is granted limited access to your Amazon account. So the way that works is you send them an invite. They'll tell you how to do this. It's very simple. You go into your permissions, and you simply send them, enter their email address, and then invite them to have access to a specific part of your Amazon account, so that all they can access is the part of your Amazon account that deals with shipments. Okay, they can't see your price, they can't see anything else. Don't worry about that. It's just shipments. That's all they can do, and that allows them to go into your account and create a shipment for you. Now, I want to be clear about what a shipment is. I talked about how a listing is the price and the offer for one book. A shipment is a collection of listings. So a shipment is basically, hey, Amazon, I'm taking all of these listings and I'm sending them to you. I'm sending these books to you in one shipment. Okay, that's what a shipment is. So with the prep service is granted limited access to your account to handle that. And then they also label your items and they ship them to Amazon for you. Okay, so that's what the prep service does. It's very, very cool. It's a great way to streamline your business. And basically, if you're using the prep service, the only thing you really have to do is create the listing. Even that's optional. But what you absolutely have to do always is set the price for your books. You don't ever want to turn that over to anyone else unless you have lots of experience. You really just you need control of your prices. Okay, so that's really your only job if you're using a prep service is to maintain control of your prices, edit them as needed, set them as needed. Okay. Now this is where you create your listing. I talked about what a listing is, and again, just to be super clear, a listing is where you tell Amazon, hey, I'm shipping this to you. Make it live for sale when this book arrives at your warehouse. Okay. So the components of a listing are a product. You're telling Amazon what product you're shipping them. You're telling them what to sell it for, and you're giving them a description of the condition. Okay, so you're saying, hey, this book has light shelving wear, no highlighting, like however you want to word it. You're just creating a listing. You're creating a condition description, so the buyer can look at that and go, okay, I understand like what the condition of this book is. This sounds good. This sounds like credible. This sounds like I can trust this person. I'm going to buy their book. Okay. You can list in one of two ways, and I strongly recommend number 2, but if you're getting started, I understand you probably want to stick with number 1, okay? You can list directly through Amazon, or you can use software that dramatically streamlines the process. But this software will cost money, but man, does it save a lot of time. So I really recommend it. But again, you have that option, okay? So if you want to list directly on Amazon, you go to inventory with that tab there in the upper left, and you click add a product. Okay, so this is in your seller account, sellercentral.amazon.com. Click the inventory tab in the upper left, and then there's a drop down menu. Click add product, and it will say list a new product, and there's a field. You simply enter either the ISBN, which is on the back of the book. That's usually what you want to enter. If you're using a barcode scanner to make it go faster, you can just simply scan the book. It'll populate that field automatically. But if you're entering it manually, just enter the ISBN manually. That's on the back of every book, and then you just go through the steps. And it's really, really simple. There's not really any way to screw this up. Okay, it'll ask you certain questions like, can you confirm there's no hazardous material in this book, which is a weird question, but they'll just ask you a couple things, and then at the end of it's like 2 or 3 steps. You simply they'll have you add it to your shipment, and then the shipment again is a collection of books, and you just simply keep listing until you have enough for a shipment that can be anywhere from 1 to 1,000, however many books you want, and then the prep service will complete the shipment, or you will. And then you didn't do that manual. I'll talk about that in a second. Or the second option is to use listing software. Now, there's a bunch of options. ScanLister is a popular one. I use one called ScanPower. It's a little more expensive, but Inventory Lab. And the benefits are this just dramatically streamlines the process and saves you a lot of time. So I do recommend it. As soon as you decide this is a business you're serious about, I really do recommend listing software. Okay, labeling. Now, you do have the option of having Amazon label your books for you. Remember, these are the FBA warehouse labels. You do have the option of having Amazon label them for you. I think it's a small fee. And you'll have that option given to you during the listing process. There's a drop-down menu where it says labels, and you can choose. To have Amazon. It's called Amazon's labeling service, is what they call it. Okay, so that's an option for you. I usually recommend investing in, just buying a printer, or if you already have a printer, great, and just doing the labeling yourself. It only takes half a second. So here's how it works. It works in one of two ways. If you're listing via software, listing software, like I talked about a second ago, what you're going to need is a Dymo 450 label printer. Okay, it costs about $65, and they will literally last for years. And then what you need is the FBA size labels are the 30252 labels. Now, if you buy them directly from Dymo, they're going to be expensive. You can buy the generic labels on Amazon, on eBay or Amazon, and they tend to work out to be less than 1 cent per label. Okay, so that's what I recommend. Now, if you're listing via Amazon, you're going to be listing in giant sheets, right? So it's like 8.5 by 11 sheets of labels. So what you're looking for here is Avery 5160 is the model number, or sort of the label number. You can get generic versions of this as well for a lot cheaper. But if you just Google Avery 5160 label, put that into eBay or something, you can buy really cheap versions of these sheets. And so what that is, that allows you to use your desktop printer and put these sheets, which are 8.5 by 11, normal paper sized, into the printer, and then print them directly from Amazon. So then this will all become clear when you go to create your listing, or your shipment rather. This will all become clear. So once your shipment is complete, you simply print out the sheets of labels, and then you go through and you put each label on the corresponding book. Now, one of the main reasons I love listing software is they allow you to print the label one at a time. So you basically only touch the book once. As soon as you list the book, you label it and you set it aside, or you put it in the box, and you don't have to think about it again. With Amazon, you create the listing, and then at the end you print out the labels, and then you have to go through and find match each label to each book. So it's a little more work. Okay, so that's another reason I recommend listing software. Okay, but everything you need to know is right here. You have the label types, everything, and then all you have to do is just put the label over a book's barcode. It's simple as that. Step 5, complete the shipment. Now, this is where we tell Amazon, hey Amazon, we're done. It's basically in your hands now, and this is the last step before you actually drop the boxes off at a UPS drop off and have them shipped to Amazon. Okay, so this is like the last of the actual labor involved. So what you do when you're ready to actually ship your books, you go into your Amazon Seller Central page, you go to the Inventory tab, and then you click Manage Shipments. Okay, so from there you click on the shipment that you want to actually complete, and it'll have a little orange button next to it. I think it says Work on Shipment, I think is the text in the box. Okay, so you click on that, and we'll take you to a page, and these are the last few steps. So the first step you have to do is choose UPS or FedEx, and Amazon has a partnership, so you get super, super cheap shipping. I always just choose UPS. Enter the box content information. Now, this is something that I personally always skip. And the reason I do that is once your shipments get to be a little bit large, this becomes really cumbersome. And what this is, it basically asks you, Amazon asks you to take every book that you're shipping them and to match it up with the box that it's going in. And it's honestly really obnoxious. I don't like doing it at all. It's my least favorite part of this process. I always pay 10 cents extra to skip it. And so what this basically, and I guess a rule of thumb here is basically if you're doing larger shipments like 15, 20, 25 books and up, I think it pays to skip it. If you only have a few boxes in your shipment, this is actually pretty easy. Okay, so up to you. And then step number 3 is to enter the weight of each box and the dimensions of each box. Now, a lot of people won't agree with me on this, but it is just a fact that you can approximate these, and Amazon will have no way of knowing otherwise. Okay, so don't worry about pulling out the tape measure or weighing the boxes for that matter. I personally never do that. Again, if you're one of those people who's not so inclined to bend rules, then you may just choose to actually be extremely accurate. I personally don't think that matters, but up to you. But you enter the box weight and the dimensions of the box. And then Amazon will ask you to confirm the shipping charges. It'll give you a shipping estimate based on the information that you give them. And at that point, you could say accept charges or deny. If you deny, then, I mean, you don't have a choice. The shipping amount is not negotiable, okay? So you just click accept charges. And then you print the box label. And so that's the very last step. The box label is just an 8.5 by 11 PDF that will instantly get generated. And you print that out. And what the box label is that's what you actually tape on the box, okay? So, the very last step is to click complete shipment and you are done. And the only step now is to actually ship the boxes, ship the books. So what you do is you put each book in a box. And this is the part, you guys, do not overthink this part. This is something that people get hung up on, and it's just not necessary. You don't need to like shrink wrap every book. You don't need to like, you don't need to deal with any of that. You just simply put the books in a box and tape the box shut, and that is it. You print the labels, and again, if you're shipping new books, maybe just be a little bit more careful, but honestly, you don't need to overthink this part. And if there's any dead weight, any negative space in the box, you might like put newspaper in there to kind of keep the books from jostling around too much in shipment. But you put the books in the box, tape it shut, put the label on the box, tape that down. You don't need to put the label on a sticker paper. You just tape it down with tape. That's how I do it anyway. And you take the books or your boxes to the UPS drop-off location. And I don't care what size town you live in, there is going to be a UPS drop-off near you, okay? My favorite place is Staples. That's where I drop off most of my boxes. UPS store is another common location. Other office supply stores like Office Depot and Office Max, I believe both take UPS drop-offs. You can just Google UPS drop-off and then your zip code, and you'll get a list of places. There's probably going to be several right near you. That part's really simple. You take the boxes in, and once they see the label, they'll know exactly what to do with it. There's no money changing hands. The label's already everything's prepaid, and so they'll just simply scan the barcode on the label, and then they'll give you a receipt. And it's good to get the receipt because just in case something gets lost, it's only happened to me like maybe once ever. But in case something gets lost, at least you've got a record of it, right? A record that you dropped the boxes off. And that's it, you guys. That is it. And now there's only thing left for you to do is wait for a sale. And your only job from this point, honestly, is just to maintain your prices, edit your prices, preferably once a day. Just keep an eye on things, price them up, price them down, keep the prices optimized. And that is literally your only job from this point. Amazon takes care of the rest. So this is it, you guys. You went from knowing nothing, from not even having an Amazon account at the beginning of this video, and I went through every single step, and now you've got books in boxes on their way to Amazon and live for sale. Thanks for watching.